Can you imagine Jesus and the apostles preaching like this?
I waited till I was 64 years old to grow a beard. I need help. I need help. You know, and I'm an ordained minister. I can't be looking like the wolf man.
Man,
what you got?
If I were you, I would just let it grow out as far as it would go. But I think I've got just the bit.
Okay. What you got?
We've got this kit, and it's got all the combs,
that's what I'm talking about.
Everything
Brush,
you'll need.
beard oil, beard and scruff cream, beard and face wash. Thank you. Thank you. That's what I need.
But you said you were a minister? Where's your church at?
Oh, are you familiar with Pflugerville?
I am. I live here.
Okay, right off of Finning and Black Locust. I go to the Kingdom Hall of Jehovah's Witnesses.
Man, Jehovah's Witnesses, you guys have just been coming in here more than anyone I've seen. What's going on?
Hey, Jehovah's Witness, man, we like to look good too, right?
Nothing wrong with that. Well, they can check you out up front.
Okay, hey, yeah, I see you got other customers. But listen, let me leave you this. This contact card takes you to our website. As of this morning, it was in 1,087 languages. Please take a look. You can decide for yourself how you feel about it. Is that fair?
That sounds pretty cool. I'll take a look.
All right. Thanks again. I'm going to tell my buddy Oscar and his two sons about this.
When I was one of Jehovah's Witnesses, look, I'll be straight. It was a cult back then, too. It's always been a cult. It's still a cult. However, we had some self-respect. We took what we did seriously. It wasn't a joke, but now even with the witnesses themselves, it's a joke because, of course, now suddenly after 100 years, it's okay to have a beard. And so they are making fun of themselves and how, well, now that Jehovah's Witness men can have beards, they're going to need product to take care of their beards. And so they have this field service demonstration about how to witness or preach to the guy who's going to sell you the product for the beard, because you have no idea how to take care of one, because up until now, the Watchtower has told you you couldn't have one. Now, what's always been just ridiculous about that is in their own literature, you saw all of the Israelites, you saw Jesus with a beard, and yet you were told, as one of Jehovah's Witnesses, that you couldn't have one. And then suddenly that changed. Oh, new light, we can have beards now. It's just ludicrous. Anyone who takes anything that the governing body says seriously right now needs to seriously consider whether or not they have any self-respect. What do you know about the Bible? Have you actually read where in the Hebrew scriptures that it is shameful for a man not to have a beard? Only men who were in mourning would ever shave their beards. And yet, Watchtower forbade men from having beards. But do you know why they did that? And it's been a long time, and I talked about this years ago on the channel. But here's the thing. Charles Taze Russell had a big, long beard. He died, and yet a lot of the Bible students, as they were called at the time, followed in his footsteps and still believed in his teaching. Whereas Judge Rutherford, the second president of the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society, did not like that at all. And so he forbade men from having beards because Judge Rutherford was clean shaven, in an effort to try to ostracize anyone who still followed in Charles Taze Russell's footsteps in teaching. That's why beards were forbidden. It has nothing to do with the Bible, obviously, because Jewish men had beards. Jesus had a beard. Their own publications have always shown beards on all of the men in ancient biblical times. And yet here, now, all of a sudden, they weren't supposed to have them, and they had to come up with some excuse for why that was. But of course, that excuse, it stopped working decades ago. But they finally admitted it's ludicrous, and so made it okay for men to have beards. And in doing that, they're insulting themselves. They're making fun of themselves, and they're acknowledging just how ridiculous they are, and having forbade that to begin with. And so they have this part on a meeting, and I don't know who recorded it or where it was, but it is so clearly, obviously, a meeting of Jehovah's Witnesses. Though, of course, I can't prove that because I wasn't there. But that's the kind of thing that we would have done. We joke about change. That's what we did. We made fun of things whenever they changed, rather than stopping to think, you know what? Maybe if we're changing everything, we don't have the truth. Because yesterday's falsehood cannot be today's truth. If yesterday it was the truth, and today it's not the truth, well, guess what? Yesterday it was always a lie. It can't be the truth yesterday and not the truth today. And it took me a long time to wake up and realize that. So if you're one of Jehovah's Witnesses still, I would ask you, I would beg you to stop and look at this ridiculous field service demonstration and think about all the doctrinal changes that Jehovah's Witnesses have instituted over the past 100 years. Go read about it. There's a great article on avoidjw.org that goes through the 20 flip-flopping changes of who was or who was not going to get a resurrection. I'm going to be making a video about that in the future. 20 times at least, the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society changed who they thought was going to be receiving a resurrection and who they thought was not. Does God change his mind? Does he flip-flop back and forth about who is or is not going to be receiving a resurrection? Does God allow and then forbid and then allow facial hair on men? Think about this for a minute if you're one of Jehovah's Witnesses. How does that make any sense at all? It obviously doesn't. It clearly doesn't. It's just the insanity of men's minds. They're making up stuff as they go along, and when it no longer becomes tolerable or acceptable to the general public for them to have such a rule, they change it. That's really all they're doing. Enough people wanted to have a beard that finally the Watchtower said, well, if we keep forbidding beards, we're going to lose members. And so they allowed it. They started allowing tattoos quite some time ago. You may or may not be aware of that. Now, they never really looked on it very favorably, but they allowed it. It was okay to have a tattoo. Now it's okay to have a beard, whereas in the past, both of those things were forbidden, and you could not have privileges in the congregation if you did either of those things. And then it changed. Did God change his mind? Did suddenly Jehovah's rules modify themselves? Did the Almighty decide that he was wrong? Which is it? Did God change his mind, or did men suddenly decide that what they were doing wasn't popular enough for them to be able to keep doing it? I am asking you, again, I am begging you, if you are currently one of Jehovah's Witnesses, think about that. Who changed their mind? God or men? And if men changed the rules, did they ever really have God's guidance and spirit to begin with? I think the answer is obvious. I think you know in your heart what it is. I certainly do, because I used to believe 100% that the governing body had God's backing, until I woke up and realized that all the things I had been taught by them were a lie. My waking up period, the biggest punch in the face for me, is when I read that the Watchtower was investing in Philip Morris, who manufactures cigarettes, and in Lockheed Martin, who creates war machines. Both things completely unacceptable in the religion and doctrine of Jehovah's Witnesses. You will be disfellowshipped if you smoke, and you will not be acceptable in the congregation or able to have privileges if you're part of the military, because they did not believe in war. So I didn't believe it at first when I read that they had invested in Philip Morris and Lockheed Martin. So I went to the SEC's website, the Security and Exchange Commission of the United States, that the companies and nonprofits like Jehovah's Witnesses have to post their investments to publicly. And I looked up the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society, and I saw that they were in fact invested in a fund that put money into both Philip Morris and Lockheed Martin. And that is the last punch in the face I needed to wake me up. Now I ask you, if this video that you just saw of the caricature making fun of the change in Jehovah's Witnesses, where at last men can have beards and they have no idea how to take care of them, do you respect yourself having seen that? Do you respect the religion you claim now that you've watched that? Does that make you feel proud to be one of Jehovah's Witnesses? Or does it make you feel kind of stupid? I'm just asking, and I'm just saying, because I was very, very proud to be one of Jehovah's Witnesses until I woke up and realized that everything I was told was just a lie made up from men to try to get me to do something that benefited them, but didn't make any logical sense at all, and certainly didn't benefit me and the people I cared about. I'll leave you with that. I hope you'll think about it, and I wish you all the best.
I waited till I was 64 years old to grow a beard. I need help. I need help. You know, and I'm an ordained minister. I can't be looking like the wolf man.
Man,
What you got?
if I were you, I would just let it grow out as far as it would go. But I think I've got just the thing.
Okay. What you got?
We've got this kit, and it's got all the combs,
Oh, that's what I'm talking about.
Everything
Brush,
you'll need.
beard oil, beard and scruff cream, beard and face wash. Thank you. Thank you. That's what I need.
But you said you were a minister? Where's your church at?
Oh, are you familiar with Pflugerville?
I am. I live here.
Okay, right off of Finning and Black Locust. I go to the Kingdom Hall of Jehovah's Witnesses.
Man, Jehovah's Witnesses, you guys have just been coming in here more than anyone I've seen. What's going on?
Hey, Jehovah's Witness men, we like to look good too, right?
Nothing wrong with that. Well, they can check you out up front.
Okay, hey, yeah, I see you got other customers. But listen, let me leave you this. This contact card takes you to our website. As of this morning, it was in 1,087 languages. Please take a look. And you can decide for yourself how you feel about it. Is that fair?
That sounds pretty cool. I'll take a look.
All right, thanks again. I'm going to tell my buddy Oscar and his two sons about this.